Good morning, students. Today I will be discuss with you chapter 2nd, class 9th chemistry. This is matter around us pure. Chapter name is there is matter around us pure. Around us pure. In this chapter, first of all, I will be discuss about the matter, what is a matter and how we have to classify the matter. So with the matter, so already I have discussed with you in chapter first. So today I will be discuss here how we have classified the matter. So simply, if I will be see, the matter will be classified in two ways. Firstly, what are the two ways of the classification of matter? 1 and 2. One is the pure substances and one is the mixture, or you can say that is the impure substances. One is pure substances and second is the mixture. That are the classification, or that we can divide the matter. What is the meaning of pure substance? That meaning the substances in which only one substance is present, or I can say that no impurity. Only one substance is present. Only one substance is present, or I can say that do not contain any impurity. That is a pure substance. Then mixture. Mixture meaning more than one substance will be present. It can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4. So mixture meaning more than one substance, is present. That is a mixture. Now after that we have to classify the pure substance and mixture. Now let's see how we have to classify the pure substance and mixture. Now we have to classify firstly pure substances. If I will discuss about the pure substances, this is the pure substances. If I will be see pure substances, so pure substances I can classify in two ways. One is the elements. One is elements and second is compound. Now what is the element? That is the simplest form of the substance which cannot be divided into the another substances. So element is what? Which cannot be divided into other simpler substances. That means we can't be split up. That meaning that will be the elements. Compound is what? That is made up of elements chemically bonded together. That meaning elements chemically bonded together, then we can say that is a compound. So I can say that if the elements chemically bonded together, then I can say that this is a compound. Chemically bonded together, then I can say that is a compound. Now again we have to divide the elements. In three forms. One is the metal, second is a non-metal, and third is the metalloid. Now let's see how we have to divide the elements. So that I am going to discuss with you now. Classification of elements. This is classification classification of elements. Classification of elements. Now elements I can divide into three ways. One is the metal, one will be the non-metal, and third will be the metalloid. Third will be the metalloid. This is metalloid. That is, now what are metals? Very simply, the elements I am writing here, the elements which have tendency to lose electrons to form positive ions, or these are also called cations. Positive ions or cations, they are called metals. That meaning the elements which have tendency to lose electrons to form positive ions are called cations. If I will discuss with you the example, so I am discussing here the example of the metals. What are the examples of metal? Suppose I have sodium. This is the sodium. It has the tendency to lose one electron, so it will be lose one electron, so it will getting one positive charge. The way is there why it is going to lose electron. Each and every element lose or gain the electron to make itself stable, or to complete its outermost shell. Like in the sodium, the electronic configuration that I will discuss with you in class, in the next chapter, but here I am telling you what is the electronic configuration of sodium. This will be there 2, 8, 1. This is, so sodium want to make itself stable. So how it will be stable? Two conditions will be there. Stability meaning it should contain 8 electrons in their outermost shell. So two ways are there. Either it will be gain 7 electron, then it will be stable, or either it will be lose this outermost shell electron, then it will be stable. So the easiest way is there to lose 1 electron, then it will contain 8 electrons in their outermost shell. So that meaning sodium has tendency to lose 1 electron to form cation. That meaning this is a metal. Same as it is magnesium. It is the tendency to lose 2 electron to form Mg2 positive. This is also cation. Whatever number of electron they are going to lose, the same positive charge they are going to getting. If 1 electron lose, 1 positive charge, 2 electron lose, 2 positive charge. Same is for aluminium. This is aluminium. It will be lose 3 electron. It will be giving us Al3 positive. So that meaning these are the metals because they have tendency to lose electron to form cation. Now after the metals, I will be talk about the non-metals. What are non-metals? Let's see what are non-metals. So if I will discuss about this, non-metals, that is just opposite of the metal. I am talking about non-metals. What is the non-metals? Non-metals meaning the elements which have tendency to gain electron to form negative ion, or I can say that anion. They are called non-metals. The same reason is there why they are going to gain electron to make itself stable. That meaning to make 8 electron in their outermost shell. Like if I will discuss with you Cl gain 1 electron, so it will be carrying 1 negative charge. Why it gain 1 electron? Very simple. The electronic configuration 2, 8, 7, that I will discuss with you in next chapter how it will come. So 7 electron is there in outermost shell. So if 1 electron will be gained, so 8 electron will be completed here. So that means that will be the stable. That is why Cl gain 1 electron and give us the chloride ion. Same as it is oxygen. It will be gained 2 electron. It will be giving us oxide ion, 2 negative. Nitrogen, it gain 3 electron. It will be giving us nitride ion. This is 3 negative. So whatever electron they are going to lose or gain, keep in your mind, if they are going to lose the electron, then meaning the element will be the metal and that much of positive charge they will be contained. If they are going to gain the electron, that meaning the element is a non-metal and that much of negative charge will be coming on that. So this is about the non-metals. Now the point is there, what are metalloids? What are metalloids? Let's see. What are metalloids? What are metalloids? So topic is there, metalloids. Very simple. The elements which show both metal as well as non-metals property. Non-metals property are called metalloids. That meaning the some elements are there, those will be show both the properties of metal and non-metals. These type of elements are called metalloids, which will be show both the properties of metal and non-metals. Now the point is there, what are metalloids? If I will discuss the example of metalloids, lots of time in exam they are asking, this is boron, this is a metalloid. After that you can say this is a silicon, germanium, etc. Boron, silicon, germanium, etc. These are our metalloids. Now I have discussed with you metal, non-metal and metalloids. Now I will be discuss with you the properties of metals and non-metals. What are the properties of metals and non-metals? Properties of metals and non-metals. Properties of metals and non-metals. This is properties of metals and non-metals. And non-metals. Properties of metals and non-metals. Now what are the properties? Let's check. So I will be discuss with you here comparison study. Like first I am writing here ductile. Ductile. This is ductile. Ductile meaning what? Ductile meaning is there the property in which the substance or element can be converted into a thin wire without breaking it. That meaning I am writing in here bracket convert into thin wire. Into thin wire without breaking. That is the meaning of ductile. Without breaking. That is the meaning of ductile. So if I will talk about the metals and non-metals, one side I am writing metal, one side I am writing non-metals. Metals, they are ductile. Ductile meaning they are ductile. What is the meaning of ductile? That I mentioned it here. Ki metals can be converted into a thin wire without breaking it, whereas non-metal are non-ductile, not a ductile. That means they can't be converted into a thin wire. They can't be converted into a thin wire. Second property is here. This is of malleable. This is of malleable. Malleable meaning what? Malleable meaning it can be converted into a thin sheet without breaking. That also I am writing in bracket. Convert into thin sheet without breaking. Without breaking. This is the malleable. Now metals, they are malleable, they are malleable. It meaning metals can be converted into a thin sheet without breaking, whereas non-metals, they are not a malleable, not a malleable. That meaning non-metals can be converted into a thin sheet without breaking. That is, after that, if I will discuss about the good conductor of conducting power. So after these two properties, I will discuss with you the conducting powers. Conducting powers. कि what's happen here in conducting power? If I will discuss with you, this is conducting power या conductors. Metals are good conductor of heat and electricity. That meaning metals are good conductor of heat and electricity. That meaning they will be allowed to pass heat and electricity from them, whereas non-metals are bad conductor of heat and electricity. They are bad conductor of heat and electricity. Some exceptions are available. In science, so exceptions are available. So somewhere some elements can be accepted from these. Now after that, mostly metals are solid at room temperature. Metals are solid at room temperature. Metals are solid at room temperature. Very simple. Here also exception. Except. What is the exception here? Metals, that is the mercury, which is lying in a liquid state. Except mercury, it is lying in liquid state at room temperature. This is the exception. Non-metals, if I talk about the non-metals, these non-metals may be solid, liquid or gas at the room temperature. They will be maybe solid, liquid or gas at room temperature. They can be solid, liquid or gas. After that, the next I will discuss with you metals. The next property is there, that is of sonorous. Sonorous meaning producing sound. The next property is there, sonorous. Sonorous meaning they will be producing sound whenever we have to heat it. So metals are sonorous meaning, again I am telling you, कि they make a ringing sound when struck. Make a ringing sound, I am writing here, make a ringing sound when struck. So metals are sonorous, whereas non-metals are not a sonorous. It's meaning metal will be produce a ringing sound when we have to struck, whereas non-metals not. After that, the next is there about the lustrous, कि they will producing shining or not. Lustrous meaning produce shine. Next property is there, this is lustrous. That meaning produce shine. So metals are lustrous. These are lustrous. That means they will produce shine. Whereas non-metals are dull. They are not producing shine. That meaning they are dull. Dull meaning they are not lustrous. This is the property. Same I can discuss the other properties also, like about their toughness, hardness. These कि they are hard in nature except sodium and potassium. Sodium and potassium are soft metal, means metals are hard or tough. Exception is available here, that is sodium or potassium. The same, if I will discuss about the non-metals, so these non-metals are not strong, they have low tensile strength, whereas the tensile strength of metal is high, the tensile strength of non-metal is low. So this is the comparison study between metals and non-metals, or I can say that these are the properties of metals and non-metals. After this I will be discuss with you about the compounds. What are compounds? Already I have told you what are compounds. I have told you about the compounds which are made up of two or more elements chemically combined together. What are compounds? That already I have told you the definition. If I discuss about the compounds, what are compounds? What are compounds? That meaning a substance which is made up of two or more than two elements, chemically combined together. That is chemically combined together. They are called compounds. Very simple example I am giving you, like water. The formula of water is there H2O. So here two elements are present. What are the two elements? Hydrogen and oxygen. They are chemically combined in a fixed ratio. Here you can give chemically combined together in a fixed ratio. Then we can say that this is a compound. Like here in water you can see H2O, two elements are there, hydrogen and oxygen. So if you will see here, they both are present in a fixed ratio mass. This is 1:8. How it will be coming 1:8? That also you can check out. This is H2, that meaning 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. The mass of hydrogen is 1 and the oxygen is 16. So this is coming what? This is coming 2:16. So 2 1 2, 2 8 16. So the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen is what? 1:8. So whenever the water molecule will be formed, so always hydrogen and oxygen, they are combined in 1:8. So I can say that this is a compound. Same one more example I am giving you, that is of carbon dioxide. This is of carbon dioxide. This is carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide, the formula is there CO2. Check out here, carbon and 2 oxygen. The mass of carbon is here 12. 2 multiply mass of oxygen is 16. So here what will be? 12:32. 4 3s are 12, 4 8s are 32. That meaning the ratio of carbon and oxygen in carbon dioxide is what? 3:8. So whenever the carbon dioxide molecule will form, then the carbon and oxygen, they are combined in a fixed ratio of 3:8. So that is the compounds. Now after this I will be discussing with you people about the mixtures. What are mixtures? That meaning impure substances. This is mixture. Now mixture meaning that is the impure substances, a substance which consists of consists of a substance which consists of two or more elements or compound. Two or more elements or compounds. Two or more elements or compounds not chemically combined together. Not chemically combined together. Combined together. This is a mixture. In a compound, what will be there? They are chemically combined together. Whereas in a mixture, not chemically combined together. This is the difference in a mixture and compound. Not chemically combined together. Very simple is there. Suppose I have told you to make a mixture of salt and water. Suppose I have given that A, B and C, three students are there, and I will say to A, B and C, you make the mixture of salt and water. So they are going to make the mixture. One student has taken here 100 ml of water. Okay, this is the water, 100 ml water, and the student A is going to add here 20 gram of salt. That means this is a mixture of salt and water. What the student B have done? He is added 40 gram of salt in 100 ml of water. Student C is going to add 60 gram of salt in 100 ml of water. So ultimately all the three students, they are going to make the salt and water mixture, but their composition is not fixed. They are different. So that meaning I can say that they are not combined together in a fixed ratio. They are not combined together in a fixed ratio, or chemically they are not combined. If I want, so I can be separate out. I can be separate out both the constant whatever I have added in this. So that is a mixture. Now mixture we have divided into two ways. There are two types of mixtures. There are two types of mixtures. What are the two types? One is homogeneous. Second is heterogeneous. Homogeneous and heterogeneous. Now homogeneous what? In which no separate boundary is present in between the components. No separate boundary. No separate boundary is present between the components. Then I can say that this is a homogeneous mixture. The example I will discuss with you. Suppose I am having a water in a container and I am going to add it the salt. When the salt is totally dissolved in the water, then there is no separate boundary between salt and water. We are not able to see clearly that part of salt and that part of water, because salt is totally intermixed with the water. So that means this is a homogeneous mixture, because no separate boundary is present in that mixture. Whereas heterogeneous, a separate boundary is present. A separate boundary is present. A separate boundary is present between the component of the mixture. Between the component of the mixture. Component of the mixture. This is like example I am discussing with you. Suppose I have a container. In this container water is present. Now I am going to add it there chalk powder. As I am going to add the chalk powder, after some time what I will see? On the bottom side, chalk powder is collected. Chalk powder is collected in the bottom side. This is. Then I can see easily one separate boundary between the water and chalk powder like this. This is a separate boundary between the chalk powder and water. So easily I can identify the bottom portion is a chalk powder and the top portion is of water. So due to the presence of this separate boundary, this is a heterogeneous mixture. So that is, I have discussed with you about the matter, pure substances, that we have divided into elements and compounds. Element we have divided into three parts: metal, non-metals and metalloids. And mixtures we have divided into two types: homogeneous and heterogeneous. In homogeneous, no separate boundary is present between the components of the mixture, whereas in the heterogeneous, one separate boundary is present between the component of the mixture. So I hope whatever topic I have discussed with you, you have understood. Now in next video I will be come in front of you with a new topic of this chapter. Thank you. Have a nice day.